All right, hello everybody. Welcome to my YouTube live show. And in this live show, I'm going to show you how to draw Lil the bunny. Lil is the mascot of LiLCreators. And yeah, I'm the brand illustrator. So to everyone joining, hi, I'm Teresa Melvin. I'm a teen artist and the brand illustrator for LiLCreators. And I've done so many artworks in digital art. This is what we're gonna draw today. But yeah. Oh. So these are a lot of the digital artworks that I've already done. And I've done digital art for a long time now, and I love creating characters, especially my two characters. This is Ava, and this is Ramona. So I love drawing them. And my works, they have also been exhibited in many places, like New York, for example. So this is one of my most recent artworks. And I love creating like very colorful, cartoony artworks. And the character I drew for LiLCreators has gone on like merch and stickers and notebooks, so that's super cool. So if you don't know what LiLCreators is, it's a platform where kids can learn digital art and design. So here's the website. Kids can learn digital art, design, and even learn a lot more about technology. So yeah, there's more details in the description. And yeah, let's get started. What I love about drawing this character in digital art is I can have them as merch as well. So let me show you. I've got it on a t-shirt and a notebook and even on a tote bag. So that's really fun. All right, so yeah, let's get started. So this is the app I'm using to draw this is Procreate. It's a digital art app, and yeah, I've been using it for like a long time now. So if you're a beginner or a professional, anyone can join and create art on Procreate. So let's create a new canvas. If you go at the top right, there's a plus sign, and I'm doing 5,000 by 8,000 pixels because I like it to be high quality. And yeah, let's create the canvas. So this is my canvas, and let's get started. So how we're gonna do this is first we're gonna sketch this out. So the sketch will look something like that, if you can see it. And then we'll do the base colors, which is just the flat colors, the green color. And then we'll do shadow and highlight to make it look a lot more 3D. So yeah, let's get into it. So in the brushes panel, I'm using, if you go to the sketching group in the brush library, I'm using 6B pencil. And yeah. So you create a new layer, and I'm choosing a black color for the sketch. So we'll start with basic shapes first. So, everyone can draw like circles and ovals. And yeah, that's what Lil basically is, like a circle for the head, oval for the ears, and the body. So in the middle of the canvas, I'm going to draw like a rough circle like this. And if you have any questions about Procreate or, Lil, feel free to ask. So we have a circle. And then for the ears, it's kind of like a half oval like that. And another one. Yeah, don't be afraid to be messy and rough. This is just a sketch, and we're going to color on top of it. And then at the end, remove the sketch. Okay. And then let's draw a kind of circular body. All right. And then oval for the legs. Okay. And then the final part of the body is the arms. So I'm going to make it look like waving. So an oval for the arm here. And then like a teardrop shape over here. All right, so we've got like the base of our bunny. And if you want to move it around, there's like actually a cool trick. So if you go to the top right, there's this tool that you can see in blue. And now you can move it around. You can make it bigger, which is really cool. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger there. And then I just exit out by like tapping the brush. There we go. And now it needs some eyes. So you know what? Let's draw like a line in the middle and then line down below here. So that's where our face will go. There we go. So I'm going to draw the nose here. The nose is like a rounded triangle. Oh. Like that. And an oval for the eye with the highlight. And then one eye is winking. So like it's kind of a teardrop shape like that. And then a mouth. There we go. So yeah, sketches can be very messy. It doesn't matter, you know. And there we go. That's our sketch for Lil. Ooh, let's create like a circle over here. And ovals here in the ears. And yeah, that's how you sketch Lil. So very simple shapes, circles and ovals. And yeah. Okay, so for new people coming, we're drawing Lil the bunny. Here's what it looks like again. Wow, super cool. It's really fun. And now we're going to we're going to paint the base colors. So create a new layer here by pressing the plus button. Now you have a new layer. I'm going to put it below the sketch. And if you press N, you can actually lower the opacity. So yeah, I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit. And on this layer, this blank layer, I'm going to choose a different brush to color it. So you go to the painting group and you'll find round brush. What I love about Procreate is like you can create like many different styles in digital art. There's so many different types of brushes. There's even like, oil paint brushes, different textures. So if you're new to Procreate, I would suggest you try it out. It's super fun. For Lil, I'm going to use this round brush in the painting category. So yeah. For the color, Lil is like a green color. So if you go over here, you can have like many different types of ways to pick colors. My favorite is the classic. So a nice bright green color. There we go. But like not way too green because we still need to add highlights. So it's kind of in the middle here. Okay. Now let's color Lil. So I'm going to draw an oval, and if I just keep holding it, press and hold, it'll actually become a perfect oval or a perfect circle. So I can click at the very top, and now I can adjust it. Oops. Oh, never mind. I'm going to do that again. There we go. And yeah, you can move this around, and you can like adjust the blue edges, the blue circles, and that looks right. And another tip I want to show you is if you click at the very top right, the colored here, and drag it like this, you can color drop. So it makes coloring way easier. We did the head. Let's draw the body on a different layer. So I'm going to do another layer and then put it below the head because the body is like behind the head. And now let's draw another oval. And then you press and hold, and it becomes a perfect oval. Like that. Okay. And now for the legs. So again, I'm going to draw an oval and I'm going to press and hold and it becomes a perfect oval like that. And then I can just adjust it. And then use a color drop. So dragging the color and then dropping it. There we go. So instead of doing, all the details right now, when you do like just a layer full of the flat colors, like for example, green for the bunny, then you can add in the details like the light, the shadow, and everything much later. All right. Right now we have 3 different layers. We have the sketch. We can always turn it off and on. We have the head, and then we have the body. And on the same layer, the body layer, I'm going to draw the ears. So draw an oval, press and hold, and now I can make it a perfect oval. Oop. And then do that one more time. All right. So we're done with the base colors. I'll let anybody catch up if you are, doing it with me. But yeah, some of the illustrations I've done of LiL, like this one, which is on the, LiLCreators website. I did this on Procreate. And then the logo for LiL, which is, I'll show you. Oh. The logo for LiL, I actually did it on Adobe Illustrator, which is like a vector tool. So yeah, maybe I'll show you what Adobe Illustrator is like one day. Someone asked, is that Procreate? Yes, it is Procreate. For anyone that wants to use Procreate, there is like a one-time fee of like, I think $12. But yeah, it's just a one-time fee. So for anyone that's interested in digital art or really want to try it, I would suggest getting it. There's a lot of tutorials online as well. Okay, so we're done with our base colors. And, actually, I'm going to move the head a bit. Okay. Let's draw all the details, like, the oval here and the eyes and the nose and everything. So for that, I'm going to do another layer. And yeah, here I'm going to draw the little details. So for the eyes, I'm using a dark green actually. Instead of like a black, I like to use a darker green color so that it looks good with, the green on the body. So a very dark green here. Oop. So if the brush is like way too big, you can always adjust it here. There's these like, side panels. So it can be really small, really big. You can also adjust the opacity so it can be light. And then if you do that, it can be very opaque. So yeah, you can adjust it like in all different types of ways. So make the size a bit smaller for the eye. And then you press and hold and you create a perfect oval for the eye. And then for this one, I'm just going to draw that like kind of teardrop shape. It's kind of rounded. And there we go. Okay, so we drew the eyes and I'm going to draw the nose. The nose is like this green color but lighter. So what I'm going to do is if I press and hold the screen with one finger, I can choose any color here. So I'm going to choose this green and then I can just make that same green lighter like this. So I already have the colors here from the palette. So I'm going to choose that. And it's going to be like a simplified triangle. Or not a simplified, a rounded triangle. There we go. And now the same for the mouth. It's a dark green color. So for the mouth, since it's an arc, you can just press and hold like this, and it creates a perfect arc. I'm going to make it a bit thicker though. So you press and hold. And yeah, now it's an arc. You can like adjust it in any way. So that's a cool thing about digital art. Or on Procreate, you can make the sizes you can make the shapes very clean. Okay, we did the face, and now I'm going to do the ears. So the same color as the nose is going to be the inside of the ears. And then this one. And color drop. All right, now let's do the belly. Since the belly's on the body layer, it's, it kind of overlaps on the head like that. So I'm gonna go to the body layer and I'm gonna draw it on there. There we go. Ooh. All right. So now we have like our, 2D version of Lil, which is super cute. If you add like line art to it, it's basically finished. But if you want to make it look, 3D, that would be like super cool. So we can add some shadows and some highlights to make it go from this to this. Okay. So for the shadow, what we're going to do is let's start with the head. So we go to the head layer and then we create a new layer. And what we're going to do is set this to clipping mask. So if you click on the layer again, there's an option to do clipping mask. What that does is now if you try to draw on, the whole canvas, it only shows up on the head. So that's what clipping mask does. It you can only draw on top of the layer below. So here we're going to do the shadow. I'm going to use the same brush, the round brush, and I'm going to pick this color with the eyedrop tool. Another way you can, pick the color is there's a little like rectangle on the side here or a square on the side here. If you press that, it should come up. Oh, it's not coming up. Never mind. You can just press down on the canvas with one finger and you can choose any color. So I'm choosing the green and then making it darker. And we can even go a little bit more blue. So I have this color set here. All right. So I'm not putting the shadow like all around the face. Let's pretend like the light source is like here. And then it's like shining down like that. So then all the shadows would be here on this part, on one side. All right, so let's go back to the shadow layer and let's do it. So I'm just going around the edge like that. It looks kind of messy right now, but you got to trust the process. I'm going to show you another tool. It's the smudge tool. So next to the brush at the top right, there's a smudge tool. And I'm going to pick the round brush again. And now we can actually blend it, which is really cool. I'm going to make the size like very big and then put the opacity low. So then it doesn't blend way too much. It only blends like, a good amount. So just keep like blending, just draw along that line. And now it looks very smooth. Like that. All right, so it looks kind of 3D right now. We're going to do the same thing for the body, the ears, and even the little details like the eyes and, the nose. All right, so we did the shadow for the head. Now we're going to do it for the body. So go to the body layer right here at the bottom, and then click another layer, and then set that to clipping mask. So you click the layer, set it to clipping mask. Yeah, so now when you draw, it only shows up on the body, nowhere else. Okay, so for the body, the arms and the body is kind of like separate parts, so we don't want to blend everything. We are going to draw a shape like that. It's kind of blended here because like if you press hard on it, if you press light on it, it kind of like, changes how the brush looks, just like in real life. So we have this shape, and then with the smudge tool, we're going to blend the whole thing out like this. And I only blended this side. So this line is kind of sharp. I'll make it a bit softer by lowering the brush and then going like that. It's a bit softer. So now we have like a harsher edge over here. And then here's like very soft. And now let's do it for the arm. So since the head is like kind of blocking the arm, I'm going to draw the shadow over here. So now you can see the head is actually blocking the arm. And then going with the smudge tool and then drawing right across that line. And now it's smudged. So we're almost done with the shadow. Now on this side, since the arm is like behind the body, I'm gonna make the edge here like straight, like this. And then draw like that, a curve. So there's a shadow underneath the arm. And now I'm gonna blend it out again. Here we go. Oh, that part's a bit dark. Maybe I should go darker here. And don't worry about like the blend. I mean, the head blending into the arm. There's like a trick for that at the very end to make it look even more 3D by adding like a light at the very edge. So I'll show you that at the end. All right, so we're done with that. And now let's do the legs. So the legs are kind of under the body here. So I'm doing a shape like this and then going down like this. So you can see here, this round shape like this is still like maintained. It's not blended out. And now for the smudge tool, I'm just blending here. Now, if you increase the opacity a lot, when you smudge, it'll look like that. So if it like, looks wrong, it's probably because of the opacity being way too, too much. So lower the opacity a little bit. And then when you blend it, it's a lot, softer and easy to control. There we go. And now for the ears. So since the light source would be coming from like here, the shadow is going to go on the opposite side like this. And then here, I'm going to make it like this, like a U shape. All right, so now we're going to blend it out again. And yeah, we're almost done with the shadow. So it's basically like the same step. You just repeat on every part of the body. And yeah, there we go. We can actually do a little bit more shadow on the face. So I'm just going to lower the opacity of the sketch. So go to the sketch layer and then see you can lower the opacity. I don't think we actually need the sketch layer, so I'm just going to turn it off. There we go. And now we want to go to the little details like, the belly, the eyes. So I'm going to go to the details layer, which is my layer 4. I'm going to, click a new layer and then set that to clipping mask. So click the layer to clipping mask. And now I can do whatever I want to it. Actually, we're going to have to do the shadow. We're going to have to do the shadow on the head, not on the eye. Never mind. Okay, so go to the shadow layer that's on top of the head. And now we're going to do the shadow. It would be here. So on top of the eye, just a little bit like that to give it a bit more depth. And we're actually not going to blend it out this time. And on the nose, it's going to be this side. And the other eye is going to be on top like this. Kind of like eyeshadow, but it's shadow. I mean, it's a shadow. And then the mouth. Yeah, there we go. So it's just a very thin layer. Actually, I'm going to erase a little bit of that. So there's the erase tool here. Then you can erase it. We don't need that much. Okay. All right. We're almost done with the shadow. I'm going to do a bit more shadow on the details like the stomach and the ears. So go to the ears or, the details. Click another layer, set it to clipping mask, and let's do some shadow on the ears. Instead of doing the same color, I'm going to do it a bit brighter because the inner ear is like lighter. All right, for this, I'm not going to touch the very edge. I'm just going to make a shape kind of like this. So not fully touching the edge, just leaving a line. And now take the smudge tool and then blend this side. Not the whole thing, just this side. All right. And then softly blend the other edge. So yeah. So you can kind of see it looks like a reflective light. That's kind of like when light bounces off and goes into like the shadow part. And now let's do the other ear. So I'm going to do the shape very close to the edge, but not really touching it. And now I'm going to do the smudge tool to blend it out. And there we go. We're done with the shadow there. I'm going to do on the belly as well. So the belly, the light color of the belly is on the body layer. So go to the body layer and then the shadow layer. And then let's do the same thing like the ears. So at the very edge, like this, but not touching it. There we go. It's kind of messy, but that's completely fine. We're going to blend it out anyway. Yo. There we go. And then I'm going to blend this side a little bit. There we go. So our Lil the bunny looks pretty 3D right now, but to make it pop even more, we're going to add the highlight. So it's like the light parts. So yeah, we're done with the shadow and now we're going to make it look like this. So you have the shadow layer right here for the body. I'm going to click another layer and then set that to clipping mask. So then when I draw, it can only draw on top of the body. And now I'm going to pick this color, this body color, and make it much lighter, even going into yellow a little bit. So I have that color set, sort of this color. So it's kind of yellowy and light. And now let's start the highlights. So this is like one of my favorite parts of the drawing. So we're going to add it on the side a bit here. So then you can see the belt, like, the belly of the bunny is like kind of 3D. And now we're going to take the round brush smudge tool and then blend that out. Wow, that would look super cool. It's always really fun to do the highlights. There we go. Okay. And now let's do a little bit on the legs. So just the side of the legs here and blending it out. All right. And now let's do the arm. So instead of going at the edge right here, I'm going to go kind of in the middle like this. And then blending that out. Yeah, so it kind of looks like a 3D teardrop shape. And then finally here, just a little bit over here. All right, so we've done the body and we're also going to do reflective light. So that light is like kind of in the shadow at the very edge. Yeah. So at the very edge, I'm going to draw a small thin line like this. Maybe like starting from the leg all the way up. There we go. It might look, insignificant, very small, but we can make that even lighter. So go a bit to the yellow color and then let's make that a bit lighter. There we go. And now let's blend that out. So it kind of makes it more glowy. If I can actually set the background layer to like a black color so then we can see it better. So if you go to the very bottom, there's a layer called background color. If you click on it, you can make it any color you like. So if you go to black, you can actually see it very well. All right, now let's do some reflective light here. So wherever that shadow is, like at the very edge of the the body, there's going to be a little reflected light like that. Okay, and now let's do here on the arm. And then I'm taking the smudge tool and then I'm blending it out just a little bit. So it kind of looks like a soft glow like that. And then here on the arm, just a small line over here, and then blending that out. All right, so we are almost done with the body. We can also add some highlights to the belly. So I'm gonna take the same like yellowish color, yellow-green color, and then I'm gonna draw on the body over here. We might have to go a bit lighter. No, I think that's fine. So like a circle here, and then smudging that out. There we go. All right. So it looks super cool right now. And now we're going to do the head. So we're going to go to the shadow for the head and then click another layer and set it to clipping mask. So now whenever I draw anything, it only draws in the head. All right. So since the shadow is here, I'm going to draw the light on the opposite side over here. And without touching the edge as much, I'm going to draw like shape like that. All right, now take the smudge tool and then with a high size, I'm going to blend that out. There we go. So you can see this side is very smooth. And then this side, you can kind of see there's a line there. So I'm blending this side out a lot and then this side only a little bit. All right, so now it looks like a shadow there. And yeah, we're done with that. Now let's do a reflective light just like we did on the edge of the body. So we're still on the head layer, the highlights for the head. On the very edge, let's draw a small line for the highlight. A very thin line like that. There we go. And now let's blend it out. All right, that looks super cool. If you have any questions about, how to do a technique on Procreate that I'm doing right now, feel free to ask in the comments. When I was like first drawing in digital art, I did do like a line art type of style. So instead of doing the 3D, I just, drew with a black color for the line art and then just filled in all the shapes. So over the years working in Procreate, I learned how to make it like a more 3D style. And yeah, it's really fun. So like I'm still learning a lot of things on Procreate, even though I've used it for so long. Okay, so now let's do the, actually we forgot to do the light on the ears. So I'm going back to the body layer, and this is the highlights for the body layer 8. And in there, I'm just gonna do some light for the ears. So draw a shape like this. Again, it's not touching the edge of the ear. It's just like in the middle, so it kind of looks like, a curve or like a 3D shape. And then a little bit on this side. All right, it's kind of messy, but once we blend it out, it's gonna be really cool. So I'm only blending this side right now. And then the edge, I'm going to blend it out a little bit. And there we go. And now for this side. Awesome. All right, now we're done with the highlights for that. And now we want to do like the highlights for the nose, the oval and the ears. So yeah, let's get started with that. So we go to like the details, which is layer 4 for me. And then there's a shadow for the details. And then we go another layer, do clipping mask. And yeah, now we can draw on like the eyes, everything here without like affecting anything else. So let's do the nose. We're gonna have to go a little bit lighter, so I'm going a bit into the white. It's still kind of yellow though. And then doing like a little circle like that. Ooh. And then blending that out. Very lightly. Not too much. There we go. And now let's do the eyes. So the eyes, I'm gonna pick the color. So press and hold with one finger, and then you can pick that dark color. And now I'm gonna make it a little bit bluish and then lighter. So this highlight is kind of making the eye kind of look kind of like a doll, not like a normal eye, but yeah. So at the very top, just draw like a circle. And then at the bottom, I'm drawing like a half circle like this. Like that. And now I'm blending that out very lightly, just a little bit. Not too much. All right. It's still missing like that life in its eyes. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take like the white color, and I'm just going to draw a little circle like this. So it looks so much more cuter. There we go. And I don't think I'm going to blend that out actually. Just a white circle like that. And yeah. And now for this side, I'm going to pick that same like dark green color that I did here. And I'm going to draw like a circle here without touching the edges. And use the smudge tool and then blend it out like this. So it kind of looks 3D right now. And same for the mouth. I'm not going to touch the edges. I'm just going to do it in the middle here. Like that. And then blend it out a little bit. There we go. So now the face looks pretty much, 3D. I can even make the highlight on the nose, like put more highlight on the nose so I can make it wider. And then I'll do a little circle. Yeah. And I don't have to blend that out. I'm just going to leave it like that. So yeah, now this looks, a lot more 3D, and it's like popping off the, black background. And yeah, we're done with the face. Now, let's do the ovals in the ears. So how we're going to do that is, we're still on the details layer. So this is like the details layer. It has everything here. And I'm going to do the highlights. Oh, that's very bright. I forgot that we were still on that. So let's go to this color. It's like kind of a neon yellowish green color. And then lower the size. I'm going to draw a circle here and one over here. All right. And now like get the smudge tool and then blend it out. So if you want like a, very smooth 3D style, this is how I go about it. I like using the round brush and then smudging it out. And I also sometimes like putting texture in my artworks. So for that, there's so many brushes. So sometimes I like to use a Spectra brush, the Tamar brush. So yeah, there's like many ways you can explore art on Procreate. And this is just like one version. All right, I think we're done with Lil, and I would love to see how everyone else, did their artworks about Lil. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the chat. And if you did do the artwork, I would love it if you share it on Instagram and tag me, Teresa Melvin Art. I love to see, everyone's artworks. And yeah. So if you enjoyed the session, thank you so much for everyone joining. It was really fun creating this artwork live. And yeah, here's the finished version. And actually, for LiLCreators, there's something. So before you go, there's something very exciting coming up. On July 26th in Napa Valley, California, we're gonna have a workshop, an art workshop for kids and teens. So they're gonna teach art, design, like Procreate, and a design tool called Figma. So if you want to check more about that, register for the workshop. It's in the link below. And yeah, I would love to see you guys there as well, if anyone's interested in joining. All right. So once again, if you did this artwork, I would love to see it on Instagram and tag me at Teresa Melvin Art. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining. It was really fun creating this. And yeah, we did it in like less than an hour too. So that's fun. If does anyone have any comments about this, like the Procreate tool, you can always rewatch this live as well to learn how to do, this artwork. All right. I don't think we have any more questions. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone joining. And yeah, I'll see you in the next live. Bye, everyone.